Zelazny might have a run here. He pulls up. 2 laps to go at Auto Club Speedway. What a run this has been. 5 cars out front just dancing around for the lead. Salas back to the bottom. Honeycutt stuck up top. Slide job out of Salas. Crossover out of Honeycutt.
23 should have a big run here. He does.
You see Salas starting to cover it up. He goes up the racetrack. Honeycutt's clear of them both. He shoves it up in front of the 23, gets himself loose. It'll be white flag this time by. Salas down low. Zelazny looking for a hole. Side by side, 3 wide, Coffee in it. White flag is in the air. 1 lap to go. Brought to you by Whiplash Sim Cams. Who is going to win the Luke's Playhouse 200? Honeycutt controlling the race. Coffee in second. Tires are aging. Zelazny off the top rope. Got a little bit free. He's going to crash with lights. And yes, wall there. Who knows? Honeycutt, though, leading the race. Can Coffee get a run? He's going to send it. He hits him. Big bump and run. Coffee's going to try and get away. Can Salas get there? Coffee's going to crash. Salas is going to crash. Watch Nick Lights here to the stripe. Salas is going to do it with no front bumper.
Unbelievable.
Wow. There's the white flag from Barney the Flagman. 1 lap to go at Long Beach. White flag is out, brought to you by Whiplash Sim Cams.
Yeah, can really hold him off. He looked like he's started to gap Cantonio just ever so slightly. Got about half of a second. It's been hovering right around there. Oh, Cantonio really pushing. He's sideways out of turn number 1. But Rayleigh just keeping that car pointed in the right direction. Nice and smooth, able to keep it going. It's going to be tough. Antonio knows that there's not very many chances, even if he can get close enough to him to make a move. So we'll see as they come through 6 and 7, head toward turn 8 onto the backstretch.
Deeper in the field, nothing changing. Lap traffic ahead. It's Kevin Peak and Bradley Alvis right in front of our race leaders down East Seaside Way. And to turn number 9 for the final time. Lap traffic in the way, and Rayleigh goes for it on Peak. He sends it into turn 9. He knows he can't wait. He knows he can't give an opportunity to Kevin Cantonio. Cantonio's going to take it anyway. Ships it into the hairpin, and Rayleigh's going to get away. Thomas Rayleigh is going to be a race winner in the North American Racing League. A last lap bump and run wasn't enough. This man wins at Long Beach.
Wow, what a finish coming through that hairpin. I thought they were all going to wad it up. We had lap traffic in there, staying in there.
It's been over a month since the AM drivers of the North American Racing League took to the track all the way back in early July at the Hockenheim Ring. Fast forward towards the end of summer and we have 3 pro rounds in the books, and we look back to the Anfield for Sebring, as ever punishing as this racetrack may be. Welcome to Pit Stop TV and to the virtual Sebring, Florida. My name, as always, is Andrew Cardinal IV, Blue Carl back alongside, and it's a pleasure to join you for coverage of the North American Racing League Porsche Cup Season number 4 at Sebring. Tonight's coverage from Hockenheim Ring is brought, I have it typed still from Hockenheim Ring. My bad, Sebring, I promise you, we're at Sebring. It's brought to you, as always, by Muradness, Love 46, and Screw Compressor Service Incorporated. You'd think I'd know the track. We were just burning the last few moments of practice, working on the cameras here, updating a couple of things as we get ready to go. This is a fantastic racetrack. It's been around forever. I recall racing it in my earliest days on iRacing Blue, and I've got some fond memories here, and I'm sure most iRacers do as well.
I personally have a bit of a love-hate relationship with this track. For one thing, it's just so bumpy throughout the entire track, but the corners, oh, they're so lovely. I mean, just take a look at turn 1, you get a nice big long left-handing sweeper. Turn 2 is a little bit of a Red Bull Ring situation. It's more of a kink in the road, but that's not where you'll be braking for turn 3, 4, and 5. You got to make that all work, braking in the middle of 4 over a bump a lot of the time to get to 5. And in this car, if you know how it handles, it doesn't handle well like that over bumps, let me tell you. 6, nice big long bend, flat all the way down to 7. You get nice, weird little salty kind of hairpin, and it's a little iffy to get through it, and especially if you're going side by side, so you gotta get that passing done on the entrance if you're going to be smart about it. 8 and 9, if you look at it at the right angle, almost looks like a flat Eau Rouge. It doesn't feel like it in the car, and it doesn't feel like it when you're on track, but from up here, it looks like that. You get 10, which is a nice square right-hander. 11, do not touch that curb. I've made that mistake before plenty times, part of my love-hate relationship with this track. 12 is going to be your braking zone for 13. You get 13, which is another 90-degree right-hander. You get down to Bishop, which is flat, which doesn't look like it should be, but it is. Then you get 15 and 16. 15 is tricky in its own way, but a lot of it is setting up for 16, which brings you on to a nice long straight, longest straight on the circuit. Correct me if I'm wrong there. And then you get down to 17, which is a bit of a 2-part corner, a big long right-hander, big long fast right-hander, and it's really bumpy, and as you'll see here in a bit, these cars don't like bumpy. These cars don't cope well with that.
It is interesting. On the fixed setup, it seems like, just based on the pro race here a few weeks ago, these cars do really eat up the curbs. They actually pull the nose up a little bit. We saw that at Hockenheim Ring as well, and we saw it even at Le Mans last week with the pros. They really seem to soak up the curbing and kind of pick the nose up, and I don't know, they almost feel like Miatas with how much they can take the curbing at these racetracks, and Sebring's no different. I specifically recall you mentioning Bishop is flat out, and it is. It's just like in GT3 and any other higher level sports cars. You can keep it pinned through 14. It looks like you would have to slow down a bit more because you kind of have that chicane to the right and then immediately hook to the left so you can get ready to get on the brakes hard for turn 15, then around Le Mans. Through all of that, from Tower all the way through Le Mans and even through Sunset Bend, really, you can use a bunch of the racetrack. There's a bunch of exit curbing, a bunch of apex curbing. There is just a ton of racetrack to use. You'll see these guys use all of it here this evening, at least. If they want to be fast, they will. That is the way around Sebring International Raceway, and we can take a look at the point standings coming into this evening's race. Here they are. Kristen Maltrek absolutely blew these guys out of the water at Hockenheim, but he's not here today. Christian not in the field. That leaves Andy Ray Miller to pick up the pieces, tied with Sully Sad coming into tonight's race, and I do see Sully and I do see Andy, as we saw Andy actually go top of the board here in qualifying moments ago. Other significant drivers, certainly Rafael Sosa and Yao Rapa, as they are towards the top through just one round in their North American Racing League careers, but also Jourdain White, Dominic Turcotte, couple of kind of satellite teammates there. Jourdain White technically paired up with Cameron Taylor, Turcotte paired up with Andy Miller, but those four kind of operating under the Whiplash Racing banner this season, and they had a great start to the season back at Hockenheim. And other drivers to watch for certainly within this group. I think Scott Angelo will surprise us as the season goes on. Armando Bejaran is particularly low after one round, as is Anthony Wayand, and I'm sure we'll be surprised by plenty more drivers throughout this field, even some that didn't make round one but are here tonight, including William Campbell, who's on the racetrack for the first time with this series, he is making his series debut this evening. A quick look at the car, the Porsche Cup car. I don't think we talk about it nearly enough. This is the 992.2 variant, the newest version of the Porsche 911 GT3 Cup car on iRacing and in the real world. I believe it debuted this year, maybe last year, but this car actually has, which is weird, I think, for some people to realize, it has ABS. That's different from every other Porsche Cup car ever.
It's so funky. And I remember when it came out, and there was a lot of discussion about it, and a lot of people actually not necessarily liking the change, but there's other things in this car that do make you miss the original.
Yeah, I'm excited to see as the season goes on how these guys learn, how they learn the threshold of that ABS, as Jose De Leo goes fastest now in qualifying. I've noticed it actually kicking in a lot more when I've been getting screenshots and stuff in this car. I've been noticing just how much of a difference it does make. It feels a lot more like a GT3 car. I think people are still scared of it because they see Porsche Cup and they think difficult, and they're not wrong. It's still not an easy car to drive, but it's been made easier, I think, with the advent of that ABS anti-lock brake system, kind of helping these guys out into braking zones. And as qualifying wraps up, here's one of the final drivers to set a time. In fact, it will be the final driver to set a lap time. Love 46 bouncing around the final corner and to the stripe. Can she go any faster than 12th place? She will not. That lap invalid. No, actually it will. Okay, it will count. It disappeared, but it's back. She'll start 7th here this evening in race number 1. She did run with the pros here, I do believe, so she's got a little bit of experience with those guys, and now jumps back down here with the amateur drivers for a bit of extra racing. I believe she's not running for points. Just want to make that clear in case anybody gets too concerned, but she's just having some fun, helping promote the series and doing a lot of the social media work, which we certainly appreciate this season. I mean, you see her logo now up there with all the other partners that have been here for seasons on seasons. Maradness, Love 46, Screw Compressor Service Incorporated, and Rocket Designs all helping out to make this season of racing possible. We are into grid time here, Blue. 17 cars, not the deepest field we've ever had, I will say that, but going to have a great race, I think, this evening as cars do take to the grid. And on pole, how about Jose De Leo out of Puerto Rico leading us to the green flag this evening alongside Andy Ray Miller. That should be a fun fight down to turn number 1, followed by Devin Jenkins, Javi Sierra in row 2. A little farther back, Dominic Turcotte and Fernando Takahashi. If you recall back to Germany, De Leo and Takahashi had a big run-in, and we're glad that it seems like they've put things behind them and are ready to continue on here this evening at Sebring. There's Love 46 and Sully Sad in the final row here of your top 10. Armando Bejeron out of the Dominican Republic alongside Mark Booley. A little farther back, 11th spot, William Campbell. That's the newcomer I mentioned out of Canada. Good to see him. He'll start alongside Scott Angelo, originally out of Australia, I believe now out of Florida. Chow Trin from up in the Northeast will start from the 13th spot. Bob Guadagnoli there in 14th position. Farther back, Andrew Saunders, Jourdain White. Jourdain actually not too confident in his own ability, but I promise you, Jourdain, keep yourself patient and just race the racetrack. You'll be in the mix there at the end. And at the very back of the field, it'll be Jose Rafael Zayas-Dros, the, I believe, longest name in the field this season. There you see everybody on the grid getting ready to go this evening. 20 minutes for race number 1. Here is a look at Whiplash SimCam's race details. It's the same as usual. 20 minutes for race 1, 40 minutes for race number 2, an invert of 8 cars. That'll be just under half of the field between races 1 and 2. Fixed setups, 45% fuel. We will see that pit stop in race number 2. And I mean, yeah, we can see that we're a little bit lighter on cars this evening. That's just extra points for all the drivers that are here, right? It's an opportunity to make the most of this kind of silver platter round that is on the plate in front of them. Just go and get all you can, and make sure you finish this race. And there's a look as well at the Whiplash, or rather the mx-wraps.com race weather conditions. 83.1 degrees, sorry, 81.3. Getting a little bit dyslexic today. 81.3 in the air, 100 exactly on track, clear skies. That's going to change. The sim time currently, Blue, about 5:32 p.m. we're going to be racing under the lights before the end of this evening.
Oh, I cannot wait for that. I haven't seen Sebring under the lights a lot, but it's beautiful. I have a pop quiz for you. How do you do this car in a standing start? Oh, sorry. How do you start this car doing a standing start?
Best way to do it is to
We talked
have
about
two
Hockenheim.
clutches. You want to actually use your pedal to find the bite point and use a button as basically your on and off. But here we go. Everybody trying that process themselves. Green flag in the air. We are racing in AM round 2 at Sebring. Devin Jenkins falling back, lap 1, turn 1. There you see the rush down from 1 to 2 and now into 3. The hard left-hander, contact, Love 46 sliding off into the grass, and she's going to lose all of those positions.
And there they all go. It's so easy around that turn. It's really, really wide, but taking it that wide loses so much.
Well, I believe she got hit.
And then you also, though, and look at the next corner, turn 4 there, it's really tight. So you got this really wide corner that you can take really wide and lose a lot of time, but then you have to rejoin kind of into turn 4. It's just this super tight corner, and you aren't making it no matter what with multiple people, especially on a start like this. Everyone all close together, everyone all nice and tight up, and having someone to race with, which is always nice to see, as someone who tends to be off in their own little world.
And as these drivers work through the final few corners of lap number 1, there's a battle now between Jose DeLeo and Andy Ray Miller. Very, very close there through Bishop. And back on the brakes, hard for turn 15. They'll turn around towards Le Mans, and there'll be one big passing opportunity ahead of Andy Ray Miller. If he can just get a run here off of turn 16, not quite. He's going to check up and lose some time. The draft may still save him, but turn 17, Sunset Bend here, that's the place to get a pass done.
And the draft picking up just at the end, and I know how that feels. It hurts. You think, oh, I can get the draft here, and you just start to get it, but then the braking zone comes, and you just aren't close enough to put it down the inside there.
Lap 1
but
of the
turn
complete.
1's never spot.
This time by 1 lap complete for these drivers. Single file back through all 17 of them. Everybody completes this first lap of racing. I think we'll let it go one more lap and then go back and see what happened to Love 46 in turn 3 on lap 1. As off the racetrack goes Devin Jenkins in that 3rd spot. New look for him. Black on the front, teal on the sides, around the rear wheels. That is going to be harder to pick out. He ran a red and white Ferrari all last season, and that is a very, very different look for him now.
I like it. I think it looks nice.
See Dean Kerr out in the YouTube chat. Wish we saw you on the racetrack, Dean. I know this schedule this season's a little different from seasons past, but there's always the next one in about a month as well at Le Mans. There's a battle. This is actually for last place. Bob Guadagnoli and Andrew Saunders battling for 16th and 17th, and this is just showing the battles we're going to have all night long. We even saw this in the AM division last season. We had some car count drop-offs at the very end, but we had great battles, and we'll talk about, in fact, we can go ahead and do it now. The power rankings coming into tonight, I actually had to drop like 5 or 6 drivers because Emiliano Almiron and Miguel Alcrudo and a couple of other drivers who ran GT3 last season, which then we carry those stats into our power rankings now for Porsche Cup season number 4. You know, they still have such great stats. They were still at the top of the board in power rankings. Emiliano Almiron actually almost broke our ratings, going over 100. So, yeah, he did good. He did good in the GT3 cars last season. There's a reason he is now up in the pro race that we see on alternate weeks. But those are your power rankings coming into tonight. Give these rankings some time. I don't want you to put too much stock in this because there is a massive spread from DeLeo down to Booley. Give this another week or two, well, another race or two, and we're going to have a much better idea of who's where as Andy Ray Miller climbed up the mountain there off of turn 17, nearly got the outside wall.
Using up all that space. Oh, there's someone in the wall.
That is Chow Trin, the number 9.
Not looking too
And
bad. A little bit of damage on the rear.
yeah, Chow's going to get that car back in order. I want to go back, though, and see what happened to Love 46. Give me a moment to do so effectively. Well, there you see a little bit of what happened to Chow. We'll do this first. We'll do this first, then. This seems a little easier to grab.
Brings it around Sunset. I can see the loose. Yep, there.
Just got loose on the gas, over the bumps. Boom, into the wall, left side.
And that's the challenge I was talking about in the car. It's so bumpy here, and this car, when you're with the bumps, and then you have to deal with all of everything else, you know.
This is the start for Love 46. Let's see what happened to her. And, uh-oh, problems for Jourdain White just moments ago. So we'll go from replay to replay. As he's saying his monitor blacked out. Here's what happened to Love, though, down into turn 3. Watch for this. That's actually Dominic Turcotte on the inside. Uh-oh, one of our cars.
I don't think there was contact there.
It was very, very close. If there wasn't, I mean, you could probably only put a paper in between them. That was super tight. Here's the start again. She got a really good start to get around Dominic in turn 1. I mean, she had position on him realistically. Look at that, just dives around the outside. Really nice work to get position down into turn 3. But then right here, might have been just enough netcode.
If there was contact, it was netcode. If there was, but I don't think there was. That could very well just be a situation of the car having some sort of issue. I mean, these tires still will lock up.
This is from Mark Booley's perspective. You can kind of see up there's just a little bit of daylight between them, and it just barely tips the 46 around. Such light contact, and then Booley actually got nearly shoved off there himself. We'll get back up to the replay now for Jourdain White, as the number 100 car has apparently left the racetrack early here for race number 1. Let's see what happened to the driver out of Jamaica, as now there's problems for Scott Angelo. It's all just stacking up. This is the problem. You think you've got a good time to get a replay, and then this happens, as Jourdain did say his monitor blacked out, and wow.
That has to be terrifying. Seeing a car in front of you start cutting across the track and just not braking for the next turn. Oh, that's terrifying.
That's not just terrifying for him, but all the cars behind him, too. And you know what? He did a really good job of somehow doing that all in the perfect way to not be parked on the racetrack. I'm impressed that he just managed to not be in the middle of the racing line here, especially with that hit. That could have been so much worse.
Just barely away from the racing line.
And I mentioned right after this we had issues for Scott Angelo. Let's get a look now at his problems. Not even a half lap ago, I think. Here is Angelo through the early sector of the lap, just went around and got a little tap. I think that was was that our newcomer possibly, of William Campbell? It was, who got a piece of it.
And that's about what I was talking about earlier with the bumps. And the bumps will send you around here. They aren't takeable like curbs are. And that's another thing that scares a lot of drivers about curbs, including me, in this car, is it's very... Ooh, using up all of the track. Back to what I was saying, the bumps are so scary because it's so easy to get loose around them. And these tires, though they have ABS, if you get caught in there and you're braking, they're locking. And they're not going to grip right, and it's just going to throw you around. There's not much else you can do.
Great battle for third. Devin Jenkins, Fernando Takahashi. This is turn 3. Takahashi at the inside. And for a driver who had a really bad ending to his day at Hockenheim, this is a great recovery so far. Into the top 3, not even 10 minutes deep. Side by side they stay. Devin Jenkins on the left side. And Takahashi can't quite get clear. Jenkins still hanging on just enough. This is going to be tricky down to the braking zone for Tower. Watch out. Rather, the corner before Tower. What is it? Collier. Door bang and mirrors touch.
Takahashi holding the inside. gonna have to relinquish it here, but gets a really nice double inside here for the braking zone. And this next turn, it's gonna be enough to pull ahead. Wheel to wheel. There's a bit of a pull ahead, but it's not enough of a gap. Just quite. So now if Jenkins plays it right, there's a big straight coming up, and I'm calling it right now. We're gonna be looking for a pass on this straight.
Meanwhile, the driver at the back end of this line, Javi Sierra, is just trying to watch all of this and decide where to make his next move, which is not easy to do. I think that's something that goes underrated is actually, here we go, a slowdown, it looks like, from Jenkins, slowing down big time down to Sunset. That was absolutely a black flag to slow down, give time back.
It was on the, I'm telling you right now, it was on that exit of Tower. Took way too much curve there, and I saw it, I was like, I don't think you can take that much, and I was correct.
Back down to turn number 1, as we have got 5 laps complete of an expected 10 here in race number 1. Again, no pit stop in this race. This race just goes straight on through. They don't have to make a pit stop. They don't need fuel. They've got enough fuel to run, well, there we go, these 20 minutes and a little bit longer as Campbell blinks out down to turn 3. I will say he's got a good top 10 on the way if he could just hang on to the race car at this point in time. Don't push anything too crazy. However, it's got to be tantalizing if you're William Campbell. If he even is fully aware of all the league regulations, he is right behind that invert spot. That would be slightly sad currently in the 79 car.
But you also have to think, Sad's going to hold on to that like his life depends on it. I mean, the race might very well.
I'd have to look back at stats. I seem to recall Sully being the driver who got the invert at Hockenheim, too. I could be wrong. But going through power rankings and stuff earlier, I seem to remember his name starting at the front for race 2.
Race 1.
No, race 2. The invert to start at the pole of race 2.
Oh, yeah, okay. There it is. Now it clicks in my brain what you mean.
There's like 2 different qualifying sessions. If you're not straight up fast enough to go do it outright in the original qualifying session by just lap time, you then get 20 minutes to put yourself perfectly in 8th position and qualify for pole for race number 2. I do like that though. The invert. Yeah. Obviously, it'd be nice if we could do it without it being known ahead of time, so they can't play the spot and be able to randomize it, you know, anywhere from 6 to 10 or something. But that's just not within the realm of iRacing at the moment. So taking the guaranteed 8-car invert, not too bad.
You know, I would say let's do the whole field, but that's just me.
I think you might be able to get away with that in this field, but not in the pro race. Battle here for 6th. Devin Jenkins being followed very closely here by Armando Bejaran.
You see just the way the car eats that turn 4 curb. It's so terrifying. And I did give this a lap or 2, and I've been trying to use a VR headset recently to get into doing more sim racing stuff, and oh, it was terrifying.
I'm excited to see as well as this day goes on. You mentioned VR, got me thinking about it. The HDR. Some drivers have, you know, a strong enough PC, a strong enough VR headset to run HDR and get that kind of bloom effect off of light sources like, I don't know, the sun. When we get a little bit later in this session, especially in race number 2, we should get some of that sunset, especially down into turn 17, you know, Sunset Bend. And I wonder how much these guys, Cornea is going to be begging for mercy in this upcoming race. I gotta say, right now, it's not too bad. It's pretty much perfect lighting conditions around the circuit, but fast forward us, you know, a half hour, an hour even, and it's going to be just a little bit more difficult to see clearly down this backstretch. In fact, here's a look from Armando Bejaran. You can see the sun setting. It's already just a bright blaze of white above the horizon.
You know, I wonder how many drivers occur eye damage from driving the back straight at Sebring.
In real world?
in the real world. I wonder if that has happened.
Oh, I'm sure back in the day. I will say now, I think everybody's got, you know, a good enough idea to tint the window, tint the visor, you know, do something to help yourself out. I don't know that it happens anymore, but I'm sure certainly back in the 50s and 60s, it probably happened a time or two. Just from looking up, you naturally, you look up the racetrack at whatever. I don't know, but certainly back in the day, it's... I guess any injury, if you can imagine an injury at a racetrack, it probably happened in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah, and that's about the time it should happen. Everything was all nice and new then, and it's about when things started to get somewhat fast.
And that's exactly what this racetrack is from, that same bygone era of pretty much pioneering motorsports in the, I'd say the 40s, 50s, and 60s, as airfields closed all across mostly Allied countries, admittedly, following World War II. They were left dormant and abandoned pretty much, and you saw facilities like Sebring International Raceway pop up, Silverstone, for example, all be carved out of these old wartime airfields, and I guarantee you more tracks than you realize started out as airfields at some point in time, or at least military land that was just no longer needed the way it was between 1939 and 1945. So Sebring, one of those racetracks that dates back to that time, and that's why you still see it looking like it's just a mess of some straight lines with bendy bits, access roads amongst the airfield. That's exactly how this track was designed. They took what was left and made what they could.
You know, they just happened to make one of the probably most noticeable racetracks in the U.S. There's a few others that are in contention for that. I mean, you know, you want to talk about Watkins Glen, you want to talk about Circuit of the Americas, but Sebring holds the top priority, whether you like it or not. It's always going to be one of those tracks that people are going to recognize and are going to love.
And it's in, I think, most Forza Motorsport titles at this point. If not all, right? I know it was in Forza Motorsport 6 because I broadcasted on Forza Motorsport 6 at one point in time for, golly.
Going deep.
What was the channel name? I don't remember. Late Shift, that's what it was. They ran a Forza-backed series that was pretty much spec, almost like you see here with Porsche Cup, except these were straight up Z06 Corvettes. Nothing special about them. I mean, it's Forza Motorsport, right? And the most fair way to do things, I feel like, on that platform versus iRacing. On iRacing, that's worth mentioning. If anybody here is brand new to iRacing, as Chow Trin has towed to the pit lane, we'll keep talking as we take a look at the replay here for Chow. If you're new to iRacing is dedicated specifically to racing cars. You don't really see production, you know, street cars unless it's like the Mazda Miata, pretty much, the Pontiac Solstice from years ago, the GR86 now in more recent years, sure. On iRacing, it's all purpose-built racing cars, like we see here with the Porsche Cup car as Chow just gets loose again off of turn 17. I hate that for him. Didn't make Hockenheim back in July. It's good to see him back in the field, but definitely don't want to see him spinning out. Regardless, I mentioned it's all racing cars and iRacing, mostly production cars, some racing cars on Forza, and that's just the way they did it. But they came here to Sebring, and that's one of my highlights. I feel like Sebring broadcasts definitely stand out to me more than most other racetracks. It's just a fantastic place. I think we are getting, yes, the white flag brought to you by Whiplash Simcams as race 1 will come complete here in one more lap. That was lap 9 complete, so we are hitting the prescribed estimated distance, I suppose, as here's a great little fight down the Ullman Straight. Scott Angelo grabs the spot from Jose Rafael Zayas-Dros in the number 787. And I think Angelo was taken off. I mentioned we might want to watch that 68 car, and once he hits a rhythm, man, he really does take off. He is absolutely leaving the 787 in his dust. Here is a battle in the back end of the invert spots. A move there from Beharan. He falls back in behind Devin Jenkins. But boy, he hesitated there.
That was I think that was a bit of an ABS moment. I think that was almost in contact. That looked a bit more like it was getting ready to be a slide, but not quite.
Meanwhile, here is the driver leading the way in race number 1 on the evening, Jose DeLeo from RS Motorsports. 2.25 seconds back to Andy Ray Miller, and I think a big part of that, honestly, was track position, but it does seem like Jose's got Andy just a little bit on pace. Obviously, dirty air slowed Andy down a little bit, but he continues to fall just a little bit farther back. And so, final time down through turn 17, Jose DeLeo. Perfect on the brakes, nice and easy over the bumps. I feel like he's making his case extra to go up to Pro-Am after this season. Off of turn number 17, checkered flag. Jose DeLeo wins race 1 at Sebring in round number 2. Everyone else come across the start-finish line here to wrap up their races. 15 cars will finish this first race. Chow Trin, Jordan White, the only 2 out of it here at the end. We'll keep an eye on the final few battles as they come to the stripe, and well, all the battles are done. Here's the final couple of cars. Scott Angelo in the number 68, followed by Jose Rafael Zayas-Dros in the number 787, and finally Bob Guadagnoli and then Andrew Saunders back here at the rear of the field. Saunders actually ahead of Guadagnoli, it looks like. Guadagnoli's still on the Ullman Straight.
I think it's Saunders is a lap down here. I was wondering what it could be. I was wondering, and I see it now.
And so race 1 in the books as Guadagnoli fires down across the start-finish line to end the first race on the evening. Jose DeLeo up top, power ranking leader, showing why he belongs there and just how much farther ahead of the field he might be going into the next round. That'll be at Le Mans in a few weeks, a handful of weeks. Here's a look actually at the schedule. Le Mans next up, September 3rd. In the time that it takes us to get to September 3rd, I do believe we've got 2 pro races on the way, those being at Long Beach and Monza, Italy, either way you want to put it. 2 great races coming up there, and that gives these guys kind of an extra idea of what to expect before the AM drivers do it themselves later on in October and through the rest of the fall here of 2026. But then, I tell you what, the AMs are going to catch right back up very, very quickly. You see the back end of this schedule is very much loaded up for the AM drivers. They're going to have to go from kind of watching and learning to repetitively, just really quick, get these races in. Italy, Daytona, Phillip Island, Brazil. There's a week between Italy and Daytona, a week between Phillip Island and Brazil, but they are back-to-back. Daytona to Phillip Island, they're October 15th and October 22nd. So, sure, you've got a little bit of time to learn, but you definitely need to be in a groove by the time you get through round number 5 later on this season, because there is going to be little time for resting at that point in time. And a little farther back, not a little farther back, but I guess we can flip graphics. I was looking at messages in our team chat, Dominic Chacot and Andy Ray Miller, saying they were a little farther back of Jose DeLeo, but there is your PCup Pro schedule, and there you see, we'll have Monza in on August the 27th. Next week, we actually go to Long Beach for the pros. We have a week off in between. Then we race in Monza. Then we race AMs at Le Mans. And then we get back around to Daytona here for the pros. And again, you see Phillip Island kind of right in between a couple of those weeks for the amateur drivers. And then Brazil right there towards the end. October 29th, we'll be crowning a new champion. And it'll be the first one in about 3.5 years. Ricardo Rico, the defending pro champion in PCup in North American Racing League competition. And Blue, I don't know how much you've been watching the Pro Series get started, the first 3 rounds, but I don't know that Ricardo's gonna repeat. It's been a great battle so far this season.
I mean, I'll confess, I will confess, I haven't watched it as much as I would like to. I'm a very big victim of not watching a lot of live streams and broadcasts. I'm very sorry about that. I do watch them when I get the chance. That was a nasty voice crack. But knowing the pros, I mean, whether Ricardo's going to get it or not, it's going to be a good fight. I remember last season when I came in, it was a wonderful fight all the way through. I expect nothing less than that especially in these Porsche Cup cars. Difficult cars, but I'm sure the pros have them down. I don't know. Maybe I have to catch a broadcast. Maybe I have to catch it on the 13th here.
I very much think you do, and if you want to get an idea of what's upcoming for us at Pitstop TV, we don't have the next NARL round on this graphic because, well, frankly, we have more broadcasts in the time that it will take to get there. Next up, it'll be a double feature on Sunday if everything goes right. I can't promise that VIR race for the Legends. We'll see. We're going to try. I can't promise it, but we will have Richmond on Sunday morning for the All-American Racing Network, bright and early that morning, and then certainly we'll be at Bristol Monday evening for the NORA Retro Cup Series. From there, I know we've got BRB at Atlanta on Tuesday, Old Atlanta, Legacy Atlanta. Then we go to, let me think about this, well, if we don't do Sunday with Legends, we'll do it Wednesday, ahead of the Full Send Cup Series. They'll be going to Iowa Speedway, and then we will get back to road racing as we will see our pro drivers from the North American Racing League Porsche Cup season right back on the racetrack, this time at Long Beach. So it's going to happen very quickly. I promise. It's a lot of broadcasting coming up, but it will happen in a hurry.
I'm excited. I am excited to see how all those turn out. I mean, ARN's so much fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, every series I feel like we have on the channel absolutely is. I mean, I will say this is a slight detour from what we expect from the AM drivers in NARL. This was a very calm start, which has me a little concerned, honestly, for Race 2. Why were they so calm in Race 1? What's going to happen in Race 2? But it's going to be a lot of fun. And the pros have been absolutely just sensational. Le Mans was an absolute electric race. So much fun. I expect nothing short of the same at Long Beach. And we even have our own couple of series now with the Legends Tour that's kind of moving around between ovals and road courses. And, of course, the WRL National Series. That will be starting on September 8th at New Smyrna Speedway. Kind of a NASCAR-style series. But for now, we continue on the road side. The North American Racing League, one of our staples now for 5 years and counting on the Pitstop TV platform. Here we go. We've got Race 2 gridding up, and we can go ahead and take a look around our field. On pole, we saw the invert go the way of Sully Sad. Armando Bejaran will start over his right shoulder out of the Dominican Republic there for car number 12. I'm not sure about Sully Sad, actually. Devin Jenkins from Canada, Javi Sierra from Puerto Rico. Those are your first couple of rows, followed by Dominic Turcot and Fernando Takahashi, who finished podium there in race number 1. Joining him on the podium were Andy Miller in second and Jose De Leo winning race number 1. They've got the most work to do compared to where they finished, at least, in race 1. We'll see if they can get back through this field. Further back, William Campbell, Mark Booley, Love 46, and Scott Angelo, and a little deeper in the field, Jose... let me see here. Jose Rafael Zayastros. I'm never going to remember all 4 names. Bob Guadagnoli there in 14th, though. And your final 3 cars, Andrew Saunders, Chao Trin, and finally, Jordan White. Going to pick up the pieces and go back at it here in race number 2. There
Real
you
quick.
see... Go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. You go first. You go.
Oh, I promise you. I'm going to talk longer, by all means.
Oh, I was going to say, I want to go back to the pop quiz I asked you earlier on how to start these cars. You were almost right. It does involve the clutch, but there is no bite point in these cars because we have launch assist. So it's full throttle and you just let it go and it does the work for you.
I'm not used to that, admittedly.
Me neither.
Yeah, I guess that kind of handicaps everybody and makes it all just about the same. Just match the gas and send it down to turn 1. Well, We'll turn the music down and turn the engines up here for race number 2 on the evening, and a quick look at the weather conditions now for race 2 as well. The track cooling down a little bit. We aren't as late in the session as we were for the pro race, so I guess we're not going quite as late here. I thought we'd be under the light, so I apologize to anybody who I mispromised, but you never know. We might still get a little bit of sunset here in about 40 minutes.
Liar, liar, liar. Liar, pants on fire.
Good thing I'm wearing shorts. Regardless, with the 78% humidity here, clear skies, however, you can see for miles around this facility. Love 46, the one car that has not yet gridded up. She should be in the car here shortly. As I say that, she pops into her Porsche Cup 992.2. So just waiting on the timer to count down and release these drivers down the front stretch here at Sebring. While we wait, never mind, lights are red. We'll get to it later. Here we go. Green flag racing on the way once again from Sebring International Raceway. Waiting on the lights and the flag for Sully Sad. There it is, racing. Race number 2 underway at Sebring. They were quick to make moves. There goes somebody. Devin Jenkins out to the turn 1 wall. He's in trouble. Javi Sierra slow as well. Everybody else nice and steady to turns 2 and 3. Keep it clean here, fellas. That was not how we want to start one of these races.
Well, you know, that's a 40-minute time commitment you don't got to worry about anymore. You want to look at it on the bright side, I suppose.
And Devin Jenkins has towed his car to the garage. So that is it. It looks like, at least at the start of this race for Devin. Might be able to get a fast repair and get back out there to Takahashi right between the teammates of Turcotte and Miller. One more around. Zayas Dros in the number 787 slow there in turn 7. Meanwhile, the 079 Sully Sad leading the way here in race 2 as Andy Ray Miller tries to get around Takahashi. Contact there. Oh my goodness, they are racing very, very closely in the midfield. Oh, and Andy got loose. Slides into the side there of Takahashi. How about William Campbell giving him the room to save it? And Campbell up to 6th.
Campbell up here making moves. Brand new to the grid, but wants to leave a bit of an impression on the other drivers and us and probably even the admins, honestly.
Turcotte gets ahead of Beharan just by a nose there through turn 15. Big contact there. Takahashi and the Beharan. They are gloves off, beating and banging here in race 2. Andy Ray Miller getting shoved off the racetrack. Fernando, you got to let him have some kind of racetrack there. And sure enough, Andy finds his way back on. Oh my gosh.
I don't even know if that is considered. I've never been out there. I didn't even know that was a thing.
And off of turn 17, Armando Beharan from about 2nd all the way down to 6th on lap 1. There you see the battle for 2nd, right back at it. Dominic Turcotte, other for 3rd. Andy Ray Miller and Fernando Takahashi once again. That Rosso number 23 making some big moves. Here's a move inside of Jose De Leo. A pass there, maybe from Armando Beharan. It was an attempt. He falls back in line. This is the meat and potatoes of the entire field right now. It is a bit of a gap back from 4th place Andy Ray Miller to 5th place Jose De Leo. Then you see Campbell a bit wide there in the Fangio triangle. Loses some time now to Scott Angelo. And here comes Scott up to P7.
It's really funny that you use gap to describe just barely 1 second between the two.
Not even. I mean, we're talking about a couple of tenths.
Yeah. And I mean, sure, it's the right word. There is like,
Jordan White, Mark Booley in trouble there in turn 10. They'll continue on through Collier. Meanwhile, Scott Angelo, Love 46, they do battle here in the midfield. And here comes that 979. Javi Sierra looking for a way by. Angelo turns left. Love 46 backs off slightly. And Javi Sierra into the back of Love 46. He's going to go around. Javi with some trouble. Andrew Saunders piles in there, nowhere to go, and Javi is still trying to get that car turned around. It might not happen now. That right front might be collapsed.
It's very reminiscent of what we saw back at Hockenheim.
And Javi will take the tow to the pit lane, so they'll wrap up lap number 2. We'll get a look back at a little bit of what happened here to start this race off.
That was all one lap? And, this is the type of start usually we see in the 20-minute race. Usually everyone's gloves off then, and then they behave here, but no, they're going at it today.
We'll take a look back here at what happened a little bit earlier in this race. This is kind of towards the end of lap 1. I'm trying to recall, Devin Jenkins was turn 1, so that's what we're going to get back to. Bear with me, it's not an exact science, that is for sure. No matter what tools they try to give us with an ATVO, it's just never quite enough for a live situation. Here we go. Devin Jenkins ends up out. Oh, that was Javi Sierra that was on his right side. And I don't know really what even led to that.
Just try to turn in and then turn him.
So Jenkins started left side. Behiron came over. Jenkins then pulled over into Sierra. Sierra tried to turn in behind him, and I think ultimately maybe Javi's at fault, but that feels like heads-up racing at the start. I mean, I wouldn't call it by a whole lot.
Yeah. If we're doing a penalty, it's going to be like a warning.
There's one other driver.
But at that point, it's just a racing incident.
I believe that had issues sector 1 of lap 1. And we saw the issue for Javi Sierra. I think that's really about it to actually recap from the start of this race. I'm trying to jog my memory. I don't think there was anything else too crazy here at the start. So back to live picture we will go.
Contact in lap 1.
And here they go to complete lap number 3 now. Sully Sad still in control. Dominic Turcotte second. What an opportunity for each of these two drivers. A couple of longer time names. Now, Sully hasn't been around the last couple of seasons, admittedly. He hasn't run super recently, but has a history here in the series, and I think I might have even seen his name, we're talking like 2020 at this point, in the Pacific Northwest GT3 League. I mean, this is, like I said, 6 or so years ago now. I believe Sully was in that. I could be misremembering, but I know we've seen that name in a handful of places at this point. And Dominic, I'm pretty sure, is a day oneer, just like Fabio Zamperlini over on the pro side. I'm pretty certain Dominic has been around, if not since the very beginning, certainly like season 2 or 3 of GT3, and the next season of GT3 racing, by the way, will be season 10. So that gives you kind of an idea of just how much racing he has done here in the North American Racing League. And I believe last season may have got his first race win, if memory serves me correct. He has been getting so much better, and look, everybody develops at their own rate. This is actually very topical to me right now with a 3-year-old. Learning every kid develops a little bit differently and at their own pace, and to never, really put too much thought into it, just keep doing the right thing, and you'll eventually get there. I think that is very much true. I hate to be a parent too much, but it's true in parenting and also true in racing. You just stay disciplined, stay at it, eventually it's going to work. It might tire you out on the way. It may take 10 years to get to that point, say in sim racing, but you will eventually get to that point and start working your way up. And it might take a couple of equipment upgrades as well. I've seen that from time to time, but I've also seen guys at 10K I rating on a laptop and a belt-driven wheel.
I almost was one of those guys with a G29, but I got lucky myself.
Hey, Dominic Turcotte briefly fastest on the racetrack. Then it's DeLeo back in 5th. And well, Andy was talking in our team group chat briefly about how he just couldn't quite, compare to Jose in that first race. Andy was following him that entire time. Now Andy's got rear damage from all of that on lap 1 and 2. I guess that's what we could have taken a look back at. But yeah, that's what it was. It was the battle with Andy Ray Miller and Fernando Takahashi. That's exactly what I was thinking of. Regardless, Takahashi now third, Miller fourth, DeLeo fifth, and I mean, Takahashi is laughing currently, but these two drivers behind now, the last couple of rounds, well, the first 2 rounds of this series, have each had some contact with him. I'm not saying either side was right or wrong. I'm just observing the fact that there was contact. Drivers remember that, no matter what side they're on. So we've got an issue for Jordan White. This is out of Big Bend. Boy, it's not a good day to be Jordan White.
No, not at all.
And he will
There's
tow
a
that
tow.
car to the pit lane, so we'll take a look back at what happened to Jourdain. Here is
Another
driver's
monitor
eye.
blackout?
I hope not.
That would, it's if so, it'd be almost similar to how it goes trying to drive in VR, and it gives you a little bit of lag.
Either a monitor issue or he very much lost track of where he was.
Thought he was on a very different part of the circuit.
Might have even looked away to a different monitor, but no, he said again. So it does sound like Jordan White may be in the market for a new monitor. If there's any sponsors out there, we can certainly paint up a very nice 100 car for the next round. If anybody wants to contribute to the Jordan White new monitor fund, I will say, I know we're cracking jokes about it and trying to lighten the mood, but as you see here, Jose DeLeo has passed up Andy Ray Miller. I know we're cracking jokes, lightening the mood and all that, but I know as well just how much that can absolutely discourage a driver from just trying to make it through a race. And he's actually saying that it's partially from the bumps at this racetrack. Jostling his HDMI cords free.
Oh,
that's insane.
I wonder.
Well, he says actually giving it shorts. Jourdain, is the cable too short, or is the cable shorting out? Regardless, I think we can get you an HDMI cord if that's the problem. I think we can make that arrangement.
Loose? That's the other thing is the port loose, and are you using a desk mount?
Like, never thought we'd be live diagnosing a hardware issue on a broadcast. Here's Takahashi. This is a run now at Turcotte, who has traded fast laps with Jose DeLeo through the opening handful of circuits. Fernando waiting for a time to strike. I mentioned earlier Sunset Bend, the place to do it if you can. That's my preferred place to pass, but you've got to do it absolutely perfect.
See if we get something on the straight. Oh, it's so bright. Oh, it's so bright.
Absolutely. It's illuminating these drivers' minds down the straightaway.
Oh.
Here's a move. Takahashi to the inside.
Ooh.
Looks underneath Dominic Turcotte. Dominic not... Well, never mind. He is going to let him by. I don't think that was by choice.
I don't think it's quite a thing of letting him by. I think it's just more of a thing of being stuck on the outside around Sunset. It's
Look at this
so
drive
hard
back.
to hold on.
Look at the drive back from Dominic Turcotte down the front stretch. Has the inside for turn 1, but now Takahashi's got the run on the outside. Turn 3 coming up. Doorbang there. Just ran out of room. A little bit of net code. Turcotte trying to hang on. This is fantastic, and Jose DeLeo is loving every bit of it. Maybe not anymore. He wanted them to allow him a way through. Oh, Fernando's not done.
Not done at all. Not done one bit. Look around the outside of Hairpin. Not the spot I'd go for, but if it's what you got, it's what you got. It's going to make it work. Hold side by side. I could see it happening here.
See Dominic Turcotte just hanging off the right rear quarter panel here of Takahashi. Braking zone now for turn 10. Fernando a little aggressive. There you see the move around the outside. Where did Jose DeLeo come from? Andy Ray Miller gets back by the 36, and Jose's out in the weeds. So Takahashi pulls back through, and yeah, this battle's far from done. I do think we have just enough time. I want to see where Jose made that move. How he even managed that into turn 10. Watch this run. Watch the 36. Here he comes. Just points left. Has just enough room. Takahashi left it there, and still Jose off the racetrack slightly. That was incredible.
That's so insane. You know, all this is catching him back up to the 079 here. It's somehow, usually when you're fighting, you drop back, but it seems to be pulling Saeed in. I think Saeed's smelling the fight and wants a little bit of it.
Here's a fun shot right down on the splitter of Takahashi's machine. Here comes Turcotte. Or rather, Turcotte's going to get passed up, I think, because here comes Takahashi on the inside. And sure enough, nothing Dominic can do there. The advantage goes to Takahashi for now. Wait just a little bit longer, and there we go. Pass completed. Fernando gets ahead. Maybe not for long.
Oh, not quite. It's a straight coming up here. Hold on. Let's hold Spider Kongs. Oh, there's there. Getting a little loose.
The draft, though, is strong, and with a teammate behind, he knows he can relax a little bit and just focus on trying to get back to Takahashi. DeLeo looked left or right for a moment, and they get back in line.
Still draft length, but I think they're going to behave just for a little bit here.
You willing to bet on that?
DeLeo looking for things I don't think you should be looking for. But we'll see how that comes out. I mean, you saw the way he looked going into turn 7. Up on the inside of Miller here, so...
And these guys, I mean, they're allowing Sully Sad to put some time on them, but Sully has not really pulled away by all that much. Only about a second and a half. They are still very much in contention for this win. They've got draft. If they play their cards right, stop fighting for second and start thinking about first, they could absolutely... They've already put about a half second on Sad. Since Takahashi got clear of Turcotte, he is starting to reel this leader in. We may have Fernando Takahashi winning this race potentially in another 23 minutes. Great battle farther back. Love 46 gets ahead of Armando Bejaran. This is for position number 7. So Bejaran down to 8th. Scott Angelo right behind in 9th. A little farther back, you'll find Jose Rafael Zayas-Dros. That is 10th. Chao Trin in 11th. And this is kind of the second pack. There's a pack of 9 cars within 7.5 seconds. And then all these others back here. It's actually one car is pitting. Dros into the pit lane. This is early.
Yeah, just a little bit early, but I mean, we'll see if we see others. I mean, we could see a really, really big undercut. It's been done before. We've seen it at Bathurst one time before. It wasn't from this far back, though.
Well, Jose comes in. This should be a quick and easy stop. I'm waiting to see exactly how long it ends up being for him, and it looks like it will be 11 seconds. It's right on the mark.
Cool.
It is early. Yeah. I thought maybe it'd be for damage or something, but that's about right where he needs to be for time in the box. Meanwhile, back to this fight, 2nd through 5th, as they continue to try and put time on first.
Takahashi getting a little bit of a pull away from Turcotte, if you're noticing that. I think there's maybe a little bit of a pace difference here. But we'll see if Turcotte can reel him back and keep in the slipstream here. Chase down Seed. Am I saying that right?
What's that?
Am I saying Seed right? That's how it's pronounced, right?
I've been saying Sully Sad for a couple of years.
Sad, okay.
Yeah, it's two A's, and there's a move from Jose DeLeo on by Andy Ray Miller. I've never been corrected on Sully's last name.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just assume if I haven't been corrected yet, I must be on board somewhere in the right place, as Mark Booley's got trouble. Oh man, you hate to see this for Mark.
You know, we ask Sad how it's pronounced potentially later today, but let's take a look at 199 here. just
Over-rotated.
over-rotated. You just got it wrong. Barely. It's just one of those things where the car just snaps on you, and you don't know why or how, and it just is over. We can diagnose it. I think
It just
a
loaded the
bit too
left
much
rear
for-
and never unloaded.
Yeah, I say just never quite didn't quite get off the brakes in the right way, and doing that can put you around because your tire's also loaded, and then one loses grip, but then one keeps rotating. It's a mess.
And here's one more look, and I'll slow it down. So you'll watch the pitch of the car, turns in, that looks okay. Up ahead, his teammate a little wide. He had a much better corner, but I think maybe picked up the gas a little too early. You could see the RPM lights actually pick up a little bit. I think he picked up the gas a little too soon. If he had waited just a half second longer, I don't think that happens. Now, that said, I am the broadcaster. And I have been very open, as long as I've been sim racing broadcasting, that there's a reason I am broadcasting this evening and not racing. I do have a bit of a clue. I will say I did run a league race this past Sunday in the All-American Racing Network, actually, at Iowa Speedway in NASCAR Cup cars. However, Blue, I'm not sure if you know this or not, NASCAR Cup cars and Porsche Cup cars are rather different. And Iowa Speedway and Sebring International Raceway also very different.
It's just one of those rare opportunities where you race something for once, Andrew.
Yeah, but you know what? I put the car on pole. I was fastest in qualifying, much like Love 46 is now during the race. Look at her.
Oh.
A 201.661, fastest on the racetrack, and she is actually about to pass William Campbell, I think, for the 6th position. They are not too far back of those lead 5.
And I have to make sure I have this right. Can you give me a quick reminder of where Love 46 started the second race at?
There you go.
So I believe it was outside of the top 10. They're 11th. So that's quite the gain so far, especially if Love 46 is able to pick up this spot on Campbell. We'll see here shortly.
Fall back a little bit. I will say at this point, I think she can kind of cool the tires down. I know she'd like to go for the win again. She did win race 2 in the opening round at Hockenheim as Mark Booley pulls his car to the pit lane and gets into the box. If she's patient, I think she can get Campbell through the pit stops. However, that does not help getting her to the top 3 again. And I think waiting will certainly be to her detriment there, but you've got to weigh risk versus reward. Do you want to potentially be in a bad spot forcing the issue now, or do you want to try to use the pit stop a little bit later and, have less worries in your life? It's difficult. I mean, obviously the goal, like I said, is to go as far forward as you can, but it's just not always the best to push as hard as you can. That said, somebody who's been pushing really, really hard, Fernando Takahashi, is on Sully Sad's back bumper.
Faking out a move a little bit. Ooh, I like to see those. I like to see those. A little bit of a fake into the inside of Sad. Saw Sully there.
Oh,
I like to see those moves.
Battle for third. Dominic Turcotte just got passed up quickly in that first sector by Jose De Leo. I think it was around turn 4 that position changed, and Jose, who was fastest the last lap, now gets to run free as Takahashi continues to bring the fight here to the 079. .5 minutes to go. This is very much in the pit window for these drivers, though we have been seeing pit stops as late as about 8 minutes to go. Takahashi is slamming there into turn 10. That's the front bumper now dented up for Takahashi's car. Look at this. That's a big dent. I mean, that's the whole bumper is pretty well smashed up, and now he's got Jose DeLeo right back on his back bumper. Dominic DeContenarf not far back. That brought the entire top 5 right back together. Friends again. I guess the question as pit stops loom here, Blue, is going to be whether or not we see Sully have to take more fuel, or if he can stay competitive after he makes his stop. He's obviously going to have to put a little more fuel in than these guys that are saving gas, but you know, Fernando did run on his own for a number of laps there, so he may also be a little bit lower on fuel versus the 3 cars behind him. And certainly DeLeo's been pushing, so who knows where he's at. I think the only driver of these 3 that has maybe been saving at all would be, or I guess these 5 rather, would be Andy Ray Miller. He's been 5th place for most of this run. The other 4, I don't know how much they truly have even had an opportunity to save fuel.
It's a rough call. And when you look at it, I honestly think, and I don't usually say that, I don't think it's going to be too big of a difference here coming to the pit stops. I think we're going to come out, assuming everyone's pit stop is the same, you know, give or take maybe a few milliseconds, I think we'll be coming out in about the same order. Though, bringing up Andy Ray Miller is a good point there, because he has, you know, Andy has been in the slipstream the whole time. So, we can, I suppose we can maybe see a position there for Miller. It's a rough call though, because how do I put it? Just not every one of these drivers, I think, has had a bit of a run on, as we see a few cars bringing it into the pits here. Saunders in.
Quadagnoli, the other car there on the pit lane, they come in for service almost at the exact same time. They release, and Quadagnoli leaves a whole lot earlier. Saunders, still one of our rookies. I wonder if he either had a penalty on the pit lane, or if he's maybe taking a full tank of fuel versus a smaller tank. He jumps forward there briefly, and I'm not sure.
Maybe some damage?
Yeah, I did see the bumper get briefly mended there, as here's Love 46, a move into turn number 17. I think she might finally have Campbell here on the ropes, and sure enough, she's making that Chef Boyardee marketing team look a little bit silly, because the can of soup just got passed. Yes, I know we're talking Campbell's soup. I made a joke to you earlier that it's going to be hard to beat a can of soup, and Boyardee connection there, all of that. I'm sure, oh man, as one car has stopped, that is Andrew Saunders out in the dirt.
Still having some sort of issue coming out of the pits here.
I'm sure Will Campbell has been the subject of plenty a Campbell soup joke in his life. So I apologize, William, if that's just one more to add to the stack, but I had to get at least one in there, William, as we get to know you.
William, I have to ask, are you chicken noodle or
tomato? Tomato. That way it can go with grilled cheese.
Hey, you know?
Believe me, I'm not just drinking tomato soup on its own. There has to be a sandwich to dip in it.
I hope not. I don't like tomatoes, but okay. I have a really, really weird thing with tomatoes where I can't do them sliced on like a hamburger or something. But I will demolish a pizza.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, I'll demolish ketchup. I'll demolish a tomato soup. I had one of my friends' homemade tomato soup, and it was delicious. But just tomato alone? Nope, not happening.
A pass here for 4th. Andy Ray Miller ahead of Dominic Turcotte. I can tell you there is one car in this field that's actually making me think of tomato soup. Can you guess which one? That would be the guy in second, Fernando Takahashi. And frankly, you know, we aren't making picks to win this race necessarily, Blue. I'm still working on the graphic for that. But I can tell you, if I was going to make a pick right now, it would be Takahashi. He is just absolutely looked the strongest in this second race, and they're a big dive up the inside of Sully Sad. They're all coming to the pit lane, but Takahashi takes the lead on approach. How about that?
That might be exactly what Takahashi's gonna need there to come out in first.
Absolutely.
Coming out of the pits here, we're gonna
There are
see
a
here
couple of
briefly, I
cars
suppose.
that continue on. I think lapped cars. I was waiting to see if anybody else came in, but the rest of the field is too far back, as these are your 7 leaders. 8 actually, with Beharon tag at the back end. Sully Sad goes the farthest down the pit lane, waiting on the others to catch up. There's Beharon into the box. There goes DeLeo. DeLeo out ahead of Sad, and it's a long way on Takahashi. Takahashi's back behind the Whiplash cars. And Love 46 is right behind them all.
I mean, it was a wonderful dive into the pit. I gotta wonder what happened there. I didn't see anything wrong with it. I
Might have just missed the box, might have just taken a little too much fuel. Let's look at the pit times. For Takahashi, we're talking a 13.53. That is a little bit longer. That looks like he burned a little more fuel, even versus Love 46 right behind. Look at that, 9.4. That's the 4 seconds she just gained. It was 9.4 for DeLeo, 9.6 for Andy Ray Miller, about 10 flat for Sad and Turcotte. That is where all of the time was made. Not just for Love 46, but for the 4 cars that passed Takahashi in the pit lane. I was ready to pretty much bow down and give Takahashi driver of the day for that move into the pits. Well, then he immediately gave it all back.
That would have been, if you dared to given me the ability to pick first, Takahashi would have been my first pick right there.
At the time, yeah.
And
going
still,
into the pit lane.
Still considering, honestly. It has still been a wonderful race for Takahashi.
That's fair, as these 2 teammates are swapping spots perhaps, and Takahashi is still trying to hang on to the race car. There's a lot happening all throughout this little 6-car fight with Campbell not too far back. Great outing for him in his first start ever here in the series. He looks really, really good, and might need a week or 2 to get his paint scheme sorted out and up to date with league contingencies, but he is looking really, really solid, like he's going to fit right in with the battles here in the AM division of Porsche Cup season number 4. And, well, Blue, I mean, I joke about the North American Racing League Driver of the Day nominations, but we are inside of 10 minutes to go. We may as well go ahead and knock them out. I feel like position number 1 is probably a lock, right?
I mean, should we just put DeLeo in it as a 5th choice, and then that's just in it to be in it, and then we make our 2 picks outside of it?
If YouTube let me go past 4 options, I certainly would. Believe me, I hate that we're stuck at 4.
Being stuck at 4 sucks. I'll take DeLeo, though. I mean, you got such a strong showing here throughout the day. First in the first race, and looking to be that way after fighting through 7 other cars and coming out of pit stops and taking the lead here. I'm saying I'm going to put DeLeo on my first pick.
Do you want to alternate, or you want to take your second?
I think we're going to alternate. I think we're going to alternate.
Okay,
I like
okay.
alternating.
I can roll with that.
Because I could just, take your 2 picks right away, and then, haha, you have to think of someone else on the spot.
I'm going to go P2. Sully Sad, I think, is a great lock. He put himself in the right position for the invert. They realized from the start of that first race he just wasn't quite going to have the pace to run for a win, but put himself out front here of race number 2 and has held it up until the pit stops. You saw Takahashi make the pass, the first pass for the lead in this race, right there when these guys came in. That's 30 plus minutes of leading, so Sully Sad deserves a lot of credit for that. Got out to a good lead and held it for a while, sure. Might lose second here even to Andy Ray Miller, but a great run here at Sebring from Sully.
And dropping down the order a little bit currently, but I cannot get off that pit stop. I'm so sorry. My words are not wording. I'm also a little dyslexic today. I can't get that pit stop pass off of my mind. I'm going to go with my second pick with Takahashi. I mean, that's one for the montage right there, You're going to put a little race of the montage together for this race. That's in it. There's no doubt about it.
It's definitely going to be, I think, on a highlight reel. And you know who might cut that highlight reel? for the league at least, will be the driver directly ahead of Fernando, and I'm going to go Love 46 for my other driver of the day pick. Of course, I think by default, I kind of have to steer clear, at least for a little while, of my guys that run 3rd and 4th. Otherwise, I would take one of them. But Love 46, look, even beyond trying to make sure I don't take a bright yellow, black, and blue car, Love 46 has gone from 11th up to 5th in this race.
Yeah.
And sure, she has run some races with the pros. In fact, she's still got the Pro-Am banner and number decals on the car, but that's never a perfect gauge of exactly how good drivers are. They're absolutely at the top end of AM. There are better top end AM drivers than there are at the bottom of Pro-Am, I guarantee you, and we see it all the time. On the other end of that, in the pro races, there are always better top end Pro-Am drivers than the bottom of Pro. That's the way it's going to happen. Not necessarily overall skill as a driver, but at least any given day, there's always going to be some of that mix. It's part of racing, especially in multi-class formats like we have. So this is just an extra opportunity, if anything, for the AMs that are racing around her to gauge where they line up against the Pro-Am drivers in the pro races. Regardless, I digress. Love 46, fantastic drive here. She started, I think, around, well, no, she got sent off lap 1 in race 1, recovered there to 11th, and now is up to 5th in race number 2. She also won at Hockenheimring a few weeks ago, and looking great. We'll get those 4 picks up on the YouTube vote for North American Racing League Driver of the Day. Meanwhile, here we go. Up the inside, Andy Ray Miller. Big pass on Sully Sad. Hang on to it. Off the racetrack briefly, and well, Sully just going to fall in right behind as Love 46 gets the pass here on Dominic Turcotte. How about that? Up to 4th now.
You think we see another pass for Love 46 coming up to the 79?
I would not rule it out. I would not rule it out. I think, yeah, when we get back around, we're going to have 2 to go. So
it's not out of the picture.
Yeah, 1.2 seconds is the difference between them right now. That can definitely happen. That is not out of the question at all. I know we've been pretty much exclusively on this top 6 since the pit stops, but I promise you this is where the fight is at in the top 6. Behind them, there is a battle. Well, not a battle. There is a car who's, I guess, battling the racetrack to catch up to those guys, but I don't think it's going to happen. Will Campbell there in 7th. Scott Angelo in 8th. Armando Bejarano not far back of Angelo, but down mired in the 9th spot. Followed by Jose Rafael Zayas-Dros in 10th. Chao Trin after a couple of issues in race 1. Chao looking a lot better here in race 2. 11th so far. Mark Booley, who has had a rough day, down in 12th. Then Andrew Saunders, Bob Guadagnoli, and Devin Jenkins, your final 3. There is Saunders, currently outrunning his teammate of Devin Jenkins, but I think that's only because of the incident we saw lap 1. Maybe not, as Jenkins is back in the pit lane with damage.
I'm seeing here. Let me double check.
Hey, actually, yeah, he said 7 minutes required damage in YouTube chat a couple of laps ago. Spin! Turn 17, Dominic Turcotte. And look at that, William Campbell in the perfect spot to take advantage. Let's see briefly what happened to Dominic in the final corner of that lap. If there was any contact or anything, I don't think there was, but we'll take an honest look at it anyhow. Dominic just as steady as he was earlier in the evening, just got mixed up there over the bumps in 17. It's so easy to do.
And maybe a little assist of Takahashi, but nothing intentional there.
No, and Jose, or rather Dominic, was going to spin regardless. That was guaranteed. It was just a matter of if he was able to kind of slide to a stop, or if he actually went fully around, and sure enough, ended up going fully around there with the help of Takahashi, who surely had nowhere to go. That does kind of mire Fernando now in 5th place for a driver that at one point looked like he might win this. That's going to be a massive slap in the face. And you know, you posed the question, can Love 46 get to Sully Sad for 3rd place? Well, here's the battle.
just so much better on the braking there. Oh. And, that's something that separates the good drivers from the really good drivers in this car, is if you know how to handle the brakes without using any sort of ABS. Because the ABS in this car will kill you, it'll kill your tires, it's a rough thing to use. It's honestly, it almost kind of makes the car harder, in my opinion. Sometimes it makes it easier, and sure, you don't spin and run off into the barrier, but you do run into the car in front of you as we get side by side. Giving a little peek, a little scared to the 79 from the 46. Looking to the side. Are we going to get a pass for the podium? Down to the straight. Yes, we are.
How about that?
But it's not over just yet. There's still turn 1. Coming to the white flag.
Yes, white flag is out, brought to you by Whiplash Simcams. This race not yet over. One more time around the world-famous Sebring International Raceway. Still a battle here for second, third, and fourth. The leader has taken off, Jose De Leo, for having to fight through the field early in this race after the invert so calmly. He has really lit up the rest of the field once he got ahead of them out of the pit stop. So it was a perfect pit stop for him, 9.4 seconds, and that seals the deal, I think, certainly for Jose here this evening. Andy Ray Miller still has an advantage there over Love 46. The race is not done, however, as they stay in very close formation, approaching the very back end of this race.
It's also not out of the question, but I don't think it's. I don't quite have the trust that that's going to happen. I don't quite have that faith. I wouldn't put money on that.
Wouldn't bet on it, I suppose.
But I would be watching it very, very closely.
Looking to be a repeat of the top two from race number 1. If these two can just hold on, Andy Ray Miller has the toughest job of the two. Jose just needs to kind of hit his marks the last few corners here. Andy Ray has got to be perfectly honest here and not make a mistake these last couple of passing opportunities. There's one here at Le Mans. She's not close enough for it. Really, the big passing opportunity is down at Sunset. They're headed there now as down the long front straightaway. There you see, or back straightaway rather, coming around to the front straightaway, Jose De Leo off into the Sunset. Literally and figuratively, there's Andy Ray Miller, no pass at turn 17. It'll be a calm run once again for your top three to the line. Jose De Leo will win. It'll be Andy Ray Miller and Love 46, your podium in race 2 of round 2. And look at that lap on the final lap.
You know, that's something I don't think I've done yet in my time on iRacing. I don't think I've held the fastest lap through a race.
And you know what? That actually does matter for power rankings. We do figure in fastest lap as a metric to track and score drivers on. That helps you in your score. So that's going to help Love 46 big time over here on the AM side. As there you see Jose Rafael Zayas-Dros in the number 787 going around the final corner. Chow Trin in the distance. There's Chow on the number 9. Mark Booley, another 23 seconds back. I will say that is absolutely dreadful for these drivers to have to run this much of this race kind of on their own. Nobody to chase. That might honestly be harder to do right than leading the race.
Oh, it's. I have experience. Let me tell you, it is. You're just all alone, and you get nothing from it. You contemplate, like, should I keep going in this?
I want to make a joke about you saying that you've got experience running on your own behind everybody by significant amounts of time. But I'm going to be honest, I've done the same. That is part of coming up through the ranks in iRacing. You're going to have those races, and every time it happens, it eats at your soul.
And honestly, it's even worse when you're in the mid-pack doing it. But, you know, we have Le Mans coming up here in a few weeks, so redemption drive for these drivers in the back. There's a possibility for them.
There's the final car across the stripe. That is Andrew Saunders, 13th spot from a lap down in race 1 to at least the lead lap in race number 2 as his teammate Devin Jenkins celebrates here. I stumble over the words, but celebrates here a little bit after the flag. There's Devin doing some burnouts, and certainly don't mind that. And there's a driver who just wishes he could have this race back, do things a little bit differently. And now we have a much, much better idea of who Fernando Takahashi is as a driver and just how much of a threat he's going to be for wins. So I very much appreciate this fight. It's good to see him still be human. That humbles you. It makes him fight even harder the next time. So certainly would have liked to have seen it work out for his own sake to get this win, but at the same time, that just builds you to be a better driver. And Fernando Takahashi already looks to be pretty darn good as we still get to learn his name here in the North American Racing League. It's everybody chasing Jose DeLeo after 2 rounds. Absolutely perfect this evening at Sebring International Raceway. There is your top 10. Andy Ray Miller, second place in both races. We'll be talking to your top 3 here shortly, as it is just a beat down by those 2 particular drivers, and I would even throw Love 46 into that mix. Boy, what a comeback for her, right? 3rd place after all of that. Fantastic drive, gets ahead of Sully Sad there in the final laps. And 5th place, you'll see Takahashi just not able to hang on to those spots farther up. Congrats again to Will Campbell. First race here. Fantastic debut in this series. We've certainly got a lot to look forward to, I think, in his brand new career here in the series. Dominic Turcotte does fall down to 7th after his spin late. It's Scott Angelo, Armando Bejaran, and Jose Rafael Zayas-Dros, your top 10. And here's the final second page of results. Chow Trin, Mark Booley, Andrew Saunders, all on the lead lap. And it'll be Bob Guadagnoli, unfortunately, the first car 1 lap down, followed up closely, sort of, by Devin Jenkins, Jordan White, and Javi Sierra. I say closely because if these guys had been able to race, it would have been so much fun to see these extra 4 in the battle, but unfortunately, all having their own issues, and it just, any one little thing could have gone differently for that bunch, and you know what? It could have been a whole different evening for them. I will say, as frankly, Love 46 races out of Kazakhstan, we are going to talk to her first and let her get some rest. It is the is it the middle of the night for you, Love, or is it the middle of the morning? I mean, how far across the globe truly are you? I know it's not a fun time to race regardless in these American time zones, but I know it's either really late in the evening or really early in the morning.
Hey, I enjoy to race, during United States time. So anyway, I'm having like NASCAR co-watch parties that time. So kind of get used to it. And I decided to change my sleeping schedule. So I'm just waking up in early morning and then I got the whole day ahead of me.
Fair enough. Well, I guess after enough repetition, you'll adjust, right? And I guess this race kind of extra repetition for you. I believe you ran the pro race here a few weeks ago. So kind of some extra track time here at Sebring. And that also gives everybody around you kind of a benchmark. How do they stack up against this driver who's got real F4 experience and racing against the pros on opposite weeks? How much fun is that for you?
Well, racing with pros has been really hard for me because everybody like really, really fast on the track. Today, I also had a little bit struggle with the track because we had really high temperatures in heat 1. A little incident happened, but overall I'm so happy with the pace at Sebring because I think I've never been that fast on it.
Yeah, we saw the bit of melee there, lap 1 of race 1. As a driver who's done this at a professional level, but also runs then here in a race with drivers from all areas of life who maybe have never even seen a real race car in person. How difficult is it as a driver to stay disciplined when you get pushed back like that lap 1 and get right back to it and punch back through the field? I mean, you still finished 11th in race 1, then came back up the rest of the spots here in race 2 to 3rd.
Yeah, actually, I had experience in formulas. So formulas is a bit different to GT cars, definitely. So you got downforce, you got real light cars, so it's a completely different experience for me. And GT cars I started to learn in iRacing, so I'm kind of new with it also as everybody in iRacing. So I'm just learning from scratch how to drive GT cars here, and it's been actually fun to race the feature race, to get through from P11 to P3, and really happy with all fights which we had on track, really clean and nice. So happy, league races a lot better than officials in iRacing nowadays. So at least somewhere I can really enjoy some fun and clean racing.
And of course, we're going to have, I think, a handful of opportunities left to go to talk to you after these races. But what does your schedule look like? I know it was kind of all over the place at first, but how many races should we expect you in here the rest of the season?
Well, I'm planning to do all races if possible
Okay.
in Pro Series and win with AM as well. Yeah, because that's like a challenge for me also to improve my lap times and to like be better in Pro Series and also to race nice and clean in IM. And that's a great opportunity for viewers, for everybody to see different experience with different people, with different iRating, and also how they're doing. And maybe to think to join the GT3 of North American Racing League in next season and Porsche Cup as well.
Absolutely, love. Thank you for your time, not only here this evening, but on the social media side for the league. Good to talk to you. Hopefully we're talking to you, I guess, next week as Pro gets ready for Long Beach. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready for this. That should be really fun. Thank you.
We'll see you there. Love 46 with a solid finish here this evening at Sebring. We'll let her get whatever she's got. I guess if she's adjusting to our time zones, she might be getting ready for bed like us soon, but that's crazy. I mean, I will say it's good to hear her talk about the diversity of driver level in this league. It's also cool to think about how diverse just the base is of drivers worldwide. We especially see on the pro side, we have a little more U.S. base here in this series, but for the pros and pro-ams, and we're talking about drivers out of Spain, drivers out of Italy sometimes. Antonelli has been one that has run out of Italy the last handful of seasons. Drivers out of the U.K. I mean, it's a very diverse league for being named the North American Racing League. So that said, we'll go ahead and talk to our winner, maybe, on the evening. Jose has not yet connected. Actually, Blue, I guess we'll let you talk to Andy Ray Miller here briefly.
And I mean, wonderful run from Andy Ray Miller. A lot of fighting throughout the entirety of the race. Andy, I like to ask this as my opener. How are you doing today?
Oh boy, I'm a little shaken up right now. Sebring is a bit of a bumpy track, but yeah, man, just want to say first, thanks to everyone involved who makes the NARL League possible. Always love the broadcasts, by the way. Man, we had some great pace today, but Jose was just too fast and consistent for us. Even if I could have reeled him in, I'm not sure if I could have made a pass stick. Yeah, he was just on one today.
I want to say really quick, by the way, Andy is not required to say that he likes the broadcast. I know he's dressed up in Pitstop TV logos and colors, but he's not required to say it. I promise.
It's just if I don't finish in the top three, I don't get to wear the logos anymore, right?
Well, we'd have to take him off of Jourdain's car. He's had a rough start to the season, but I digress. I'll let you guys talk.
Well, I guess that leads me to ask, do you think you have podium pace for the rest of the season then?
Man, we'll see. There's a lot of great drivers in this league, and the competition is pretty stiff. So yeah, as long as I keep putting in the seat time, I think I have a good shot at it.
And it brings me along with seat time. How has it been getting used to this car? Because this car, you look at it and you think it's going to handle like a GT3, and then it kind of just handles differently, at least in my experience.
I've adapted pretty well to it, I feel like. When I raced the GT3 last season, I really struggled to get a grip with it. But I think me and the Cup car are meshing pretty well.
Righty. Well, I mean, that's good to hear. I've had so many struggles with this car. It's unbelievable. But no, that's good to hear.
Well, man, I look forward to the next one. And again, yeah, thank you all.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good day.
All right, bye-bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Here's Andy Ray Miller with a solid second place, 2 second place finishes this evening. A fantastic run for the 3 car. Can I tell you what, I can tell you what Jose DeLeo said moments ago in the Discord chat, that he's going to pass in the interview today. He already did the talking on the track. Hope everybody was listening. I mean, wow.
We got some confidence out of DeLeo.
Shots fired, and for a while he was doing battle straight up with Fernando Takahashi. And Fernando, man, what a pass, first of all, into the pit lane. We thought initially that was maybe the pass for the win. What happened there in the pit stop?
Yeah, well, thank you, first of all. Thank you, everyone, for the fantastic broadcast and for our supporters from Rosso Esports. Yeah, I got lucky there, but I had way too much damage. I got rammed several times, in the back, on the sides, and I thought I could at least fix like a little bit, but then I kind of, dozed off a little bit and forgot that I should leave the pits together with the other guys, and that cost me probably like 3 or 4 positions tonight. So very frustrated in that sense, but it was a great and fun race. Lots of good, side by sides, people respecting each other. So it was really enjoying, really enjoying driving and racing tonight.
And Fernando, it's good to talk to you this evening, especially after the unfortunate ending at Hockenheim a few weeks ago, and kind of coming back into this race tonight looking really, really solid. Still didn't quite go the way you wanted it to go, I'm sure. Didn't win the race when we thought you might have, but I mean, night and day difference between round 1 and round 2, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. And I am really surprised with my, performance tonight, because during the practices over this week, I could barely finish like practice races because I was spinning all the time. It was really difficult to control this car with the fixed setup at Sebring, with the bumps and all that crazy stuff. This car is like really crazy to drive at this track on the fixed setups. But somehow, I managed to stay alive and got, a decent pace. Of course, congratulations to Jose, that, was incredible tonight, winning both races. He was really fast. Andy as well. And, I think, the real racing that happened tonight was really good, and I'm surprised that we didn't have more incidents. Like, the car was really hard to control tonight, but I'm glad that it was a beautiful race. I can't wait to go and watch the stream now.
It was absolutely fantastic. A lot of fun this evening. I will say, I'm looking over at the driver of the day vote. You, Love 46, and Jose are all tied currently on that vote. So if there's anybody watching who hasn't voted yet, why should they vote for you?
I mean, I think I lost enough for tonight. If I can win this one, I really appreciate it.
I don't think I've ever heard that. That's a good one. I like that. I like that a lot. I've asked that question a handful of times. That's the best answer I think we've gotten. Fernando, I also want to ask, I know we saw the dramatic ending at Hockenheim for your race. What was it like? Obviously, I know the frustration was strong there, but then coming back to Sebring, you're racing door handle to door handle with Jose, and I think things went a lot better tonight.
Yeah. I mean, I think that incident, I think was just like some unfortunate thing, a miscalculation. Those things happen. I don't blame Jose. I think he was kind of racing hard, like, he was fast. And I was holding him really hard during that race, so I guess that maneuver kind of happened, and unfortunately we both lost a lot of positions, but I got the worst of it because I ended up in the wall. But no hard feelings. You're here to race. And Jose and I did some door to door here. Andy as well, Turcotti. It was really fun and clean race in general, especially on such a challenging track.
Absolutely. Great answer there as well, Fernando. Good to talk to you. Hopefully we're talking to you again soon. It's been a lot of fun watching that bright tomato red number 23, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Awesome, thank you. I would like to thank God and my family and the Rosso Esports team for allowing me to represent them tonight. And see you guys in a couple weeks, I guess.
Absolutely, and that Rosso Esports team has been fantastic in the Pro-Am side as well, Blue. I mean, I think it's Gabriel Felipe has done absolutely just yeoman's work winning race after race on the pro side. So I guess Pro-Am side technically. So Fernando's in good company, right? I mean, there are great drivers able to help him, coach him a little bit, and make sure he's up to snuff when he goes racing here in these AM races. Good to see that for Fernando. And I'm not going to lie, I breathed a very big sigh of relief when he answered really nicely about Jose. You know, look, they had some very strong feelings after that round at Hockenheim. They've had a month to sit on it now. Now, I'm not going to lie, I went in fishing pretty big time there for his thoughts on that crash at Hockenheim, but that also shows the gentlemen these drivers are to get past that incident, go door handle here at Sebring, and move on past it and not have a problem. That is very cool. And you don't find that in very many leagues across iRacing. A lot of drivers hold on to grudges a lot longer than they probably should. For a couple of laps is one thing. For a couple of months, couple of years, anyways. We took a look at results and everything. One thing we've not yet looked at is the driver of the day vote results. As mentioned, there's a tie still. Jose DeLeo, Love 46. So those of you watching on YouTube, don't take too much longer. You're running out of time here, but Blue, any final thoughts here from Sebring?
It was good. It was really interesting to see, along with the flip of the grid, it was kind of a flip of the driver's mentality, it felt like, because they were so passive in the first race and they got really aggressive in the second race, but it made it so much fun to watch, as it always is here with NARL, and it's pretty happy. I'm pretty happy seeing that they could get past some things, because in some other leagues, especially some of these NASCAR leagues, you know my opinions with NASCAR as a whole, they hold them for a while. I've seen it before. I've been in the middle of it, let me tell you.
Another great race here at Sebring. Next up for the AM drivers, they will be in action at Le Mans. That'll be September 3rd. Then they go right back at it, back-to-back Le Mans to Long Beach there, and then we'll have a pro race a little while after that. I think that might be Daytona, perhaps. Regardless, a lot of great racing coming up, and you just got to stay tuned here on Pit Stop TV to catch it all. In fact, next up for us, as mentioned earlier, Richmond Raceway, bright and early Sunday morning. I'm at an event pretty late Saturday night, if everything pans out and the weather holds off, for example. So that's going to be a wild drive back for Sunday, but we will get through, I promise. Should be a... What's that?
I said 80 on the freeway.
Not even that. It's going to be a matter of staying awake to 9 a.m., 9:45 a.m., and then trying not to crash all day Sunday. Regardless, we'll see how it all goes. As there you see the next three on the channel. We talked about these earlier, and then beyond this, you also have BRB with their Sundance Pro Series at Atlanta, Legacy Atlanta on Tuesday. We've got a double feature planned with the Full Send Cup Series heading out to Iowa then Wednesday evening, and then pros here at NARL go to Long Beach. That's right, Long Beach on Thursday, a week from now. I'm waiting on that YouTube vote to split, and I just don't think it is. So we will have to go ahead. Well, actually, YouTube split it for us. Okay.
Oh, there it goes.
Yeah, YouTube actually gave us the 1% split we needed, I guess. So thank you, YouTube, this time. They had the same number of votes, but the percentage went to Jose DeLeo. We're just going to go with what YouTube says. I think Scott can absolutely do a joint award there if he needs to, but yeah, driver of the day goes the way of Jose DeLeo on the number 36, at least per the YouTube poll. So congratulations there to Jose, and I mean, that's so well deserved for either of those drivers.
Absolutely. I mean, two fantastic drivers. They put down absolutely wonderful races both ways. So, I mean, I have no other words to say. That's one of the hardest things, finding the right words to say, and I can't find it sometimes. This is one of those moments.
And there you see a couple of their stats from this evening's race here at Sebring. A big thank you to our partners with this series, of course, Maradness, Love 46, Screw Compressor Service Incorporated, and Rocket Designs that we talked about all at the top of the show, and our partners here at the channel, Whiplash Simcams, MXWraps.com, ATVO, Murdos Esports, CC's Business, the North American Racing League, Whiplash Creative, and TZO Designs. That is it for us here from the virtual Sebring International Raceway. Thanks so much for tuning in. Next up for us, it is out to Richmond on Sunday morning. Don't miss it. We'll catch you all there, hopefully bright and early Sunday. Otherwise, we'll see you next week at Long Beach for the pros.